Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how I made this headband holder. So if you want to see how I made this, please stay tuned and we will get right to it. Okay, so for this project I am using this yarn that I picked up at the dollar store. It is just a 50 gram, well it says 40 gram. It's just a 40 gram ball of yarn in a fuchsia color. I got it because it had these little sparkles in it and I thought it was cute. But you can use whatever yarn you choose, and I am using my 4mm crochet hook, and you will also need a ring of some sort. For this I am using a hair tie. Okay, so to get started you will need to make a slip knot. Like so. Okay, and then you're gonna be crocheting over the hair tie. So I usually just put it on my needle like so, then pull the thread under like this and do a slip stitch, chain one. Okay, now you're gonna do a half double crochet all around this ring until you have covered the entire ring all around. Okay, so that's just one half double crochet around, a row of one half double crochet. Oops, that was a single crochet. Okay, so just like that, and I'm trying to work over this tail that I have here. And you don't want to stretch, if you're using a hair tie, you don't want to stretch it while you work because you want it to sit as relaxed as possible. You don't want to have any stretch in it. So keep going, just do a row of half double crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, so I'm coming up onto the end of this round. I just have a couple more half double crochet stitches to go. And I'm doing them loosely so they're not tight against the hair tie. Okay, so once I get up to here, I'm just going to make a slip stitch into that chain one space to close this round, or to join this round basically. Okay, like that. Okay, now you want to set your work down and decide how wide you want your headband holder to be. So for me, I'm just going to use my needle as a guide and go straight across from where my last stitch ended to right here, right there. And then you can use a stitch marker or another color yarn to mark that space. So I'll go ahead and do that with this piece of white yarn. Okay, so that marks how wide I want my headband holder to be. So to begin the next round, I'm just going to chain one, turn the work around, and I'm going to do a single crochet. You can work this in a double crochet or a half double crochet if you want, but I'm just going to work this in a single crochet across because I want my stitches to be pretty tight. I don't want it to be too loose. Okay, so it's just one single crochet all the way across to where the stitch marker is. And that is going to be it for the remainder of this section of your headband holder. Okay, so once I get to that stitch, I do a single crochet into the space, I remove my stitch marker, and then I chain one. Turn the work around and repeat the same thing. It will be one single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Pretty simple. Okay, so let me just finish up this round, and I am not sure how many stitches I have across, although it does not matter at this point. Okay, but you want to keep track of your rows and make sure you're not dropping any stitches as you go across. Okay, and this will be our pattern. So you're going to just keep building the rows until you have the desired length that you want. So I'll go ahead and finish my rows, and then I'll come back when I have completed this part of the headband holder. Okay, so I have completed all my loops, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops, and I just finished doing my last loop right here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this thread off. I'm gonna cut this thread and secure my end, which I will weave in later. So you can stop here if you like. This should be your finished product. You can stop here if you like, if you're satisfied with this. But what I want to do, since it's so pink, I'm gonna add white around the edges to bring it up, to bring up the color a little bit, or tone it down a bit, whichever. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a loop, and I'm just gonna start at the end right here and slip stitch to join into this, into the edge right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just start with a slip stitch and a chain 1. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do a single crochet in each stitch all the way across. And I'm gonna keep going all the way up, and I'm gonna keep going across all the way up, around. I'm gonna go across, up, around, down, and back to this point. So I'll go ahead and finish that, and I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I didn't make it too long because I don't have a lot of headbands to put on. I probably have about 5, so I think this length should be enough, but you are free to make yours longer, totally up to you. So this is how it comes out, and this is no longer rounded, it's kind of a oval shape. I don't know what shape that is, but this is what it looks like so far. Okay, and for the next part of this headband holder, I am going to cut off my tail down here. Okay, and I'm just going to pull through my thread and secure that right there. Okay, so you can do this part with a different color if you want a different color on top, totally up to you. I think I'm going to stick with this pink and see how it comes out. Okay, so to begin this next round, you will need to make a slip stitch in your new thread, like this. And I guess before we get to this part, we need to find the center of our work. Okay, so I have about 14 stitches going across. So let me just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14. So I'm going to move in on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8 altogether if I do 4 on each side. So 8 from 14 leaves 6, if my math is correct. So I'm going to be working with these 6 lost my train of thought. I'm going to be working with these 6 stitches that are in the center right here. Okay, so I'll keep my finger right here and I'll put a stitch marker right there. I'll put a stitch marker right there. And I need another one for the other side. So I know I went in 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the 5th one I put my stitch marker. And on this side I'll do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5 I'll put my stitch marker. Right there. Okay, so I know I will be working, whoops, I did that in the second row. Oh, no, that's fine. Yes, so it will be in the second row, not the row that's coming. So it's not the row that's coming right off the hair tie. It would be the second row down. That's where our work will begin. So I have my slip stitch on my needle. I'm just going to slide that off. And right where my stitch marker is, I'm going to put my needle right there. And I'll remove the stitch marker. And then I'll put my loop back on my hook. And I'll pull through like so. Now I'm going to do a chain 1. And I'm going to do a single crochet under each of these the next 5 stitches for a total of 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, and I kind of fold it like this so it's a little bit easier to get under the stitch. 4, 5, and my 6th stitch will be where the stitch marker is, so I'll just take that out and do my 6th stitch right there. Okay, now you're going to chain 1, turn the work around, and you're going to do your 6 double crochets across in those 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, 4, 5, and 6. Is that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I think I have one too many. So I'm going to work a 7th right there. Chain 1. And then I'll go back to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is like my 3rd stitch so far. So I'm gonna work, let's say 4 rows. So this is 2 rows so far. Chain 1, turn the work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, and 6 in the last one on the edge. 6. Chain 1, turn. That's 1, 2, 3 rows. This is the 4th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The reason I'm counting each stitch is because I don't want to miss one, and then instead of it being 6 coming down together, it starts getting skinnier and skinnier, because that does happen. Okay, so I have 4 rows. The thing is, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a loop. I think that's a little bit too tight, so I'm going to do a 5th row. 1, chain 1, 1, 2, whoops. So chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, chain 1. Okay, so here we are. So below this, right here we have four rows in this little flap that we just made. And down here we have 1, 2, 3 rows. So we're gonna slip stitch into row 3. So that's right there. So we're going to slip stitch to join this flap to row 3 right here. So you just want to make sure you're starting right here and you're ending on that stitch right there. You just want it to sit right on top of it. So I suggest you at this point you get your stitch marker and mark that last stitch over here, because you don't want your thing to be lopsided. Okay, so with my needle still under my first stitch right there, I'm just gonna hook my loop and pull through. Actually, yes, pull through and chain 1. Okay, and now I'm gonna do the same next one. Hook my yarn, pull through both, you're hooking both sides. Hook the yarn, pull through, and complete a single crochet. That's 2. And you do that for the 6 stitches right across the middle. 3. 4. 5, and your last stitch where the stitch marker is, and you put it in that last one at the end. And 6. I hope this is clear. Stitches are a little bit tight on the end, and that's that. So that will be your first loop. Okay, now you'll do the same thing as you did before. Chain 1, and now you're going to make another 5 rows of single crochet for another flap. We're going to attach it to the bottom. So right here we skipped 1, 2, and worked in a 3rd row. Same thing. Skip 1, 2, and 3. You find the center, or you can count to make sure you have the right amount. I'm just going to eyeball it. So I'll just go here. Where am I? 1, 2, 3. I'm working into right here. So I'll just put my needle here. Hook my, well, not yet. Put my needle there. Size up the other side. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll count just for this time. And I'll put my stitch marker in on that side. Then I'll come back over here. Hook my thread. Pull through and chain 1. And I'll move to the next stitch. Hook, stick my needle under. Move to this side where the flap is. Then hook my thread, pull through both. Do 1 double crochet. Single crochet. Next stitch, same thing. Hooking the stitch on both sides. On this side and on the flap. This is number 3 or 4, was it? Yes, number 4. Number 5. And right where my stitch marker is number 6. So I'll put my needle there, remove the stitch marker if I can, and then I'll grab the other side of my work. Oh my God. Okay, and I'll pull through, pull up, and chain 1, and then you'll just continue that all the way down. So basically what we're doing, we're just creating these loops. So that's 1 loop, and this is 2 loops. So now you're going to do another chain of 5, and you go into then you join it at the third row of the previous of this thing. Make another loop, all the way down until you get to the bottom. So keep doing that, and I will meet you when I have completed this. Okay, so I have completed all my loops, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops, and I just finished doing my last loop right here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this thread off. I'm gonna cut this thread and secure my end, which I will weave in later. So you can stop here if you like. This should be your finished product. You can stop here if you like, if you're satisfied with this. But what I want to do, since it's so pink, I'm gonna add white around the edges to bring it up, to bring up the color a little bit, or tone it down a bit, whichever. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a loop, and I'm just gonna start at the end right here and slip stitch to join into this, into the edge right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just start with a slip stitch and a chain 1. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do a single crochet in each stitch all the way across. And I'm gonna keep going all the way up, and I'm gonna keep going across all the way up, around. I'm gonna go across, up, around, down, and back to this point. So I'll go ahead and finish that, and I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so I've gone a step further, and I've also done a row of single crochet around the center part in this white color, because I find that the loops here was kind of hidden into the background. It all blended into one, so I decided to go around with the white in the center just to bring it up a little bit more. So this is what it looks like when it's finished, and I'm just gonna add the headbands so you see what it looks like in use. Okay, so let me just put these on here. I'll just put a couple in, well, a few, 3. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I think it's a very nifty idea. Okay, hope you guys like this tutorial. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you do, and thank you so much for watching. See you in another video. Bye.